It's easier to blame something else instead of, actually, I did my absolute best. If I don't win the races I want to win, it's not because of my knowledge base, it's because I'm not good enough. I am not a rival of Jan. Jan is a rival of mine. Looking back, stupid. It's just how I'm wired, though. That's the final stage for me. I still believe I have what it takes. I've been doing it a while now. It's funny, where's the time go?
Do you regret any of the experiments that you made? Because you made experiments not just around training, but all kinds of things like nutrition and races, the kind of things that frankly, most athletes would never even dream of doing.
Oh, lots of stupid stuff, yeah. Looking back, stupid. It's just how I'm wired, though. Like, I'm one of those people. I love to learn and see. But now I'm old enough to know, and that's why, like, another experience is knowing myself and how I've been wired. And I look out and I see guys who are wired the same and are just doing the same things, and they don't, well, I'm different. I'm different. It's going to have a different effect for me. Like, that's me. That's how I was wired. And it's like, you're probably not that different. You know what I mean? We're all pretty similar in terms of like physiological systems and biological systems. We're all very similar. So now the psyche, there's where we differ for sure. But anyways, I wouldn't change anything really. No. Like even last year, I never been coached. I did my whole thing. I always could. Like I had advisors, but I always just did it myself, right? People give me some insight and stuff, but I always wrote my own program. So then I had to go full steam into full coaching last year. It's like throw everything out the window, turn your brain off completely, and just listen and do as you're told. Also not good. Like I did that. Now I've done that too. I've been a fully coached athlete.
So what are you doing? What is the future then? I mean, you sound like you're the details guy. You've got all these training logs.
Yeah, I know everything I need to know now. Like I truly do. I would say that's how I feel. I feel that there's not really much. I know that there's like physiology and stuff that I couldn't give you the explanations for, but you know, like the Norwegians, for instance, they do all this crazy testing and stuff. But like the proof is in the pudding for the most part. Like it's like at the end of the day, you have to go out, you have to execute a training protocol and you see the result. That's all we are. It's all anyone is doing, right? And if you've amassed enough data and logged detailed data logs, then there's nothing anyone's going to be able to do for you. I've tested so many different training protocols that I know the responses to all these different training protocols. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. I believe that I have faith in myself now. I think the big one was if I would do poorly, for instance, in Kona, I would say, oh, I don't know anything. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I need someone else. It's like, no, you do have the answers, actually. Now it is, if I don't win the races I want to win, it's not because of my knowledge base. It's because I'm not good enough. And that's the hard one. That's where I'm going to find out. Am I good enough? Because now I can't blame anyone. I have all the knowledge, I have all the experience. And if I don't win, it's because I'm not good enough. But I'm cool with that, you know what I mean? Whatever. If I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. You can only get so much better, you know what I mean? Like that's just a fact. Like you're not gonna get like in infinite growth. We have limits with regards to improvement. And so sometimes the realization is I'm just not good enough. But instead of having that realization, you go down these stupid rabbit holes of various, interventions to try and, I think it's ego defense mechanisms, to try and shelter your ego, such that, well, I don't have a lactate meter. I just need to start doing lactate. Maybe I'll, that's the missing thing. It's probably not the missing thing.
So it's effectively not being able to look in the mirror and just say, I don't quite have this.
And I say this from experience. I think it's easier, and I've done this many times, it's easier to blame something else, like, oh, I don't know nutrition. Oh, I executed it poorly. Oh, my training. See, I'm not training right. Oh, I need a coach. Instead of, actually, I did my absolute best. I had great nutrition. I trained really well. There's really no other reasons why I didn't win other than I'm not good enough. And that's the death of the athlete, really, right? The day where you look in the mirror and you're like, I can't win the world. Like, I don't have that capacity. I mean, that's probably the last day that you're you're a high-ranking athlete, right? And so it's scary. But I would say that's the final stage for me. I still believe I have what it takes, and I have the knowledge base now, and I believe in my training methods. I believe I have a good sense of how to do it. And so I'd say within 3 years, I'll know if I have it or not. And if I don't have it, it's all good. It's all good. It doesn't refute my knowledge base, you know?
Yeah, but that takes perspective to be able to be 100%.
Well, I've been doing it a while now. It's funny. Where's the time go?
Moving on, you mentioned Jan earlier, and I'm keen to talk to you about you and Jan, because great sport is made from great rivalries. That's what fans of all sports love. That's what defines heroes in all sports, in all generations. Is Jan your great rival?
I am not a rival of Jan. Jan is a rival of mine, yes. I mean, Jan doesn't have any rivals, really. Like, Gomez beat him in Mont-Tremblant 70.3 Worlds in 2014, and I don't think anyone has beat him in a 70.3 since that time. And the Ironman, I don't think anyone's legitimately beat him in an Ironman. I think Jesse Thomas got him once, but he spent 15 minutes trying to get his helmet strap on or something. It's all on video and stuff. But otherwise, I'm not sure the guy's been beaten since 2014, really. So he doesn't really have any rivals, which kind of sucks, I think, for him. I think some of my greatest memories are real good toe-to-toe battles with guys who are at the same level as you, and it's more of a mental battle because you're in the same sort of physiological state. Yeah, so it's a bit sad for Jan in that no one's been at his level for 8 years, basically. So now this is kind of the year where everyone's excited because Jan's not injured, and then you got the Norwegians who are in great form, and so yeah, this will be a fun year. I mean, Jan's 42. I ain't counting the guy out or anything, but it's certainly 38 and 39-year-old Jan is probably in higher form than 42-year-old Jan. That just seems like the natural progression of biology. But hey, he'll probably prove that wrong too. So from my standpoint, no one has motivated me more than Jan because I tasted it in 2015. I knew very little about the sport. I was naive, but part of that actually worked to my benefit because Oceanside 2015, I came out of the water with a 4-minute deficit, and I bridged a gap in I think 30K. And then I went by these guys, Jan, Andy Potts, etc., pushing over 500 watts in the middle of the 70.3, pretending I wasn't even breathing hard or anything because I was flexing on them so hard. But I was just a kid, and I was it didn't, who cares, right? And I blew up and I finished third, but I came off the bike with Jan and I went toe-to-toe for 5K with him. So I tasted it, and I never, ever saw him again in a race. It's since 2015. And so every race I would get to a start line with him and be like, this is the one. I'm going to taste it again, toe-to-toe. I can't wait, shoulder to shoulder. And he beats me by 5 minutes. I never see him. He'd the worst one too was Miami in 2021. I felt that I was in pretty good form, and he outswam and biked me too. So it was extremely humbling. But yeah, no one has motivated me more than Jan. And so yeah, it's cool. I'm excited to race him on Oceanside. I believe that was his first 70.3, and he says it'll be his last 70.3. And so that's pretty cool. And I think it's admirable to lay it on the line like that from his standpoint, to say, these are my races. I know you guys all want to race me this season one last time. These are the ones I'll be at. If you want to race me, here's where I'll be at. And however it unfolds, that's how I'm leaving. So I think that's very admirable to do that.